This is Maestro Minute, the show that discusses all things real estate, sharing interviews with the most successful people in the industry. Hear from their perspective and what they are doing to achieve success. Get exclusive tips on how you can also succeed in real estate. Maestro Minute is brought to you by Maestro Development. Here's your host, Nareg Muradian.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Maestro Minute. I'm your host, Nareg Muradian. Wanted to focus a little bit today on pre-construction. If you're in the pre-construction phase of your project, how to manage that, how to be successful, what are some things to look out for. So I wanted to go through that. And again, please do comment, give me your feedback. Want to hear from you guys. Make sure to subscribe so you can continue to hear our content. But today I want to talk about pre-construction. Really, what is that? Obviously your design is done. You have your permit in hand or it's about to be issued. You want to get into construction. So before you get into construction, you got to focus on a couple things. One, you got to buy out the project, right? You got to bring the contractor in, buy out his scope of work. You might want to bid that out to 3 to 5 general contractors just to get good value pricing, market value for your work. So when you're putting that together, you got to make sure that your RFP, your request for proposal for the contractor, is pretty conclusive. Meaning you have your scope of work, you've talked about your schedule expectations, when they can work, what are the hours, or their off-hour works, what are some of the impacts. If you're building something that's in an existing facility, are there tenants that are already there? How do you deal with that? If is it a green field, how do you get access to that? What utilities do you need? So you want to make sure all of that is dialed into the RFP for the general contractor. You want to make sure you interview your general contractors up front. Make sure they have some experience doing the type of projects that you're doing. And also making sure that the people that they're proposing are the actual people that are going to be on the project, and you meet and interview them. So you're going to want to meet your project manager, your superintendent. Oftentimes you deal with the business development person, but you want to dive a little bit deeper to actually understand who is actually going to be on that project. So put the RFP out. While you're putting that out, you're going to probably get some questions on the scope of work. Deal with that, have your architect and your partners on board to help resolve some of those, and really buy out that project. So once you get pricing back and you're buying out the general contractor, sit down with them, go through his project, see what he has in there. What is he included for, being on site? How many hours? Are they working weekends? What's the schedule, right? Is it doable? Are there any procurement issues? Are there any material that will be longer than the actual duration of the project? Has any material escalated in cost? Are some materials hard to find? We've had projects where we couldn't get glass because there was a high demand and the glass delayed the project. We've had projects where we couldn't get, door frames because there was a high demand. So depending on the specific time of your project, there could be some type of impact with procurement. So make sure you understand that. Go through the contractor's exclusions. They do a really good job lining out their exclusions. Go through those, have a conversation with them about those. Sometimes they just copy and paste those to every bid. So, if it's not valid, just have them cross it out and resubmit their proposal. If there's something in there that you don't feel comfortable about, this is the time to bring it up. So everything is on the table, the price is on the table, the schedule's on the table, exclusions, inclusions, all of that you want to flush out before you actually award the construction. It's an easier conversation. If you do it afterward, you're going to have to deal with change orders or issues with the contractor delivering. So get all that flushed out. That's what we do at Maestro. We make sure that procurement's going smoothly. If you have budget issues, if your numbers come in high, you can sit down with the contractor and evaluate, well, instead of specifying this type of material, is there a cheaper alternative that's very similar that we can go with? Maybe it's readily available, it's more cost effective. So you can have those kind of conversations up front. Those are great ways to help value engineer the project. Also schedule, which I touched about. When you're dealing with pre-construction, your overall project budget is set, right? Have you done your field investigation? Are there any field issues or unforeseen issues that we want to try to address? Do we want to do some preliminary excavation, hole digging, taking soil samples, taking samples of a building? Is there any material hazardous issues, any asbestos? Get all that dialed in up front so you have that information. Make sure that you understand what you need to have delivered to the project. Are there deferred approvals? make sure the contractor has those managed. Oftentimes you see that certain pieces of equipment or material are deferred. So you just want to make sure you understand and have all of that together. Once you have all that combined, you sit down, you go through all of that, and then you really are ready to award the project. So if you set up the project right from the beginning, it'll be smooth sailing all the way through the end of the construction. I guarantee you that if you don't weed out some of these issues up front, then you're going to hit a lot of bumps, a lot of obstacles during construction with cost, schedule delays, and you're going to be stressed out. It's not going to be a great experience. So at Maestro, we really focus on providing a great experience, really orchestrating the contractor to help support executing the project. That's what we really enjoy doing, and that's what we want to talk about today. So pre-construction, super important. Oftentimes I think it gets bypassed. We think it's super important. So please let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoyed hosting this episode with you guys. See you on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Maestro Minute podcast. Make sure to rate this podcast if you found it helpful, share it with a friend that could use it, and follow us on all major podcast platforms. The Maestro Minute, powered by Maestro Development.